Welcome to the Sports Council.
Tri-City Raceway is an unforgiving track, very, very fast. It's a driver's track. It's a rhythm track, and you can get into trouble. It's definitely not for beginners.
The council is now in session.
With a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-City's leader in sports.
Greg Walden and promoter.
For the Tri-City
Raceway, right. At
You
Red Mountain
guys-
Event Center.
You guys are keeping busy over there at the Red Mountain Event Center, the Tri-City Raceway. It's the 55th annual Apple Cup. Tell me about the event.
Yeah, the event it goes over 2 days on April 6th and 7th. Both races, or both days, they start at 7 o'clock. And it'll be a full field, great racing. It kicks off the Northwest, basically, Northwest racing, or racing here in the Northwest.
Tell me about this event. I mean, it's the 55th annual. It's been going on for a while. What does it
Yes.
mean to have it in the Tri-Cities at the Tri-City Raceway?
It's a big deal. This race started at Yakima Speedway in 1967, and it has had multiple winners, including a three-time champion that went on to win the 1990 Daytona 500, Derek Cope. And so it's steeped in history, and it'll be no different this year. Last year's winner, Kyle Tellstrom, won on the last lap after the two leaders tangled, going for their $10,000 win, last corner, last lap. But both of them were put to the back, and third place, Mr. Consistency, ended up winning. So it was quite awesome, quite a show. We have a really star-studded field for this also. Now, traditionally in the spring, the kickoff, because drivers are racing at their local track, and so your car count usually isn't quite as good. Well, we have just a stacked field of super late models that'll be competing for the Cup, and also you'll meet Danica Dart later from Ephrata. We have Cole Raz that is from Portland area, Eric Johnson and Dylan Lupton, both from California. All four of these people, I believe, are going to be in a West ARCA Menard Series West car on August 10th at Tri-City Raceway. That'll be NASCAR returning, basically, because this is a support group for NASCAR, and their champions traditionally go on into the upper levels. In fact, Dylan Lupton, he has, I believe, 10 Infinity or Xfinity Series races, 40 Truck Series races. So he's got some experience, needless to say.
Yeah, it's always good races at the Tri-City Raceway. The Fall Classic that took place to end the season.
Yeah.
There was a car that was held together by duct tape without any sides, and it was amazing that even got back onto the track.
Trying to finish. The Tri-City Raceway is an unforgiving track, very, very fast. It's a driver's track. It's a rhythm track, and you can get into trouble. It's definitely not for beginners. And speaking of the Fall Classic race that we had, without a doubt, nationally, that would have been the biggest race that weekend in the nation, without a doubt. The car count, the level of competition, and that's right here in Tri-Cities. It's the track, it's the series, it's the atmosphere, the vibe, the excitement. All culminates into one.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and we've talked about the Tri-City Raceway. I know I had Jeff Jefferson, as well as I'm really excited to catch up with Danica Dart. Like you mentioned, she'll be joining the show later, so we'll have her talk about more of the ARCA series, which is so exciting. She's just 16 years old, so we'll hear from her later this show. Right now, we're catching up with Greg Walden, promoter at the Tri-City Raceway of the Red Mountain Event Center. And speaking of the Tri-City Raceway, the history of it, I know that we've told it a couple times, but those listening that maybe haven't heard, it was one of those racetracks that very well could have been on the show abandoned racetracks.
Yes, should have been. So just through a series of perfect, everything aligning at the perfect time, it would have been, because it basically did sit abandoned and neglected for 17 plus years, and that was hurting. It really was. I mean, the amount of weeds, the overgrowth, but you know what? There was enough there that it was savable, and so savable it did happen, but couldn't have done it without a huge amount of volunteer help that are all out there busting their rear ends, just wanting to see this succeed as well as we do want to see it succeed. And that goes from the city of West Richland, city of Richland, then all of our volunteers, all the race people. We can't let this one go away. So, you know, we lost Yakima Speedway here a couple years ago just because of rising property values. And it's just critical. It's critical. It's good for the economic development of this area. It's very positive to have this here. We're glad to be a part of it.
So glad to see it return after, like you said, 17 plus years. And what did you do in those 17 years? Because you are a promoter for the racetrack,
right,
and you are part of 3 generations. So the Waldens are promoters.
Yeah.
So a little bit different.
We spent a lot of time up at Yakima Speedway, just not necessarily helping out. I mean, we would sell shirts up there with our shirt business and just stayed involved in racing all the time by doing that. And then I spent some years just following the unlimited hydroplane circuit, which is just a great group of people and just with a huge amount of passion. Got to go to their race sites, sell some shirts, and just really had a good time. But we originally were going to put a schedule together and run Yakima in 2018 as far as a promoter. That didn't work out. So we had the schedule. Hermiston was available. We opened that. And then about the same time, we went out and looked at the track with the Mayor Brent Gary at Tri-Cities. It's like, well, what do you think? And it's like, well, they didn't tear enough of it out to make it to where you couldn't do it. There's still a track here, and there's still some concrete seats and a few good buildings. So it's doable. And it was doable, and it did happen. But there's such a list of things that had to go right, which did, and then continue to have to go right to make it keep working, because you have to keep putting money back into the facility forever till it gets to the point of where we feel it's world class. It's not there yet, but it's getting there.
And with a lot of great support, whether it be people
Without
coming out to the races, the volunteers,
yes,
and even the city of West Richland themselves with Brent Gary. And let's talk a little bit about your family. So you guys are promoters. I mean, I talked with Lacey to get this set up.
Yes.
How did your family get into it, and as well as you took the reins from your father?
Well, of all things, I was the race fanatic, not him so much. He'd take us to the races once in a while. And then I always wanted to race, so I got the opportunity to help somebody. Mr. Gene Wagner from Tri-Cities, he's passed on now, but I was able to work on his car, learn some things, and start racing. And then my dad, the business, because he has a business mind, I guess you would say, and there was an opportunity there where the last race of the year, just when I'm helping somebody on their car, just that last race, the guy wasn't going to promote the race. So they promoted it, and I think they made a couple bucks and didn't lose anything, but it was an experience. Then somebody else stepped up and promoted in the early 80s. Then the track became available again in 1982, and he went in with 4 other guys. And by probably the 3rd or 4th year, they had all had enough except for my dad, and he continued that lease up until the track was purchased in 1999. So I was learning to be able to do that job or take that on as a career when it stopped, and then it restarted again 17 years later. And I think I've said it before, but it's like you're reading the book and you lay it down for 17 years and you come back and start right there at that, and it's like, oh yeah, this, I remember this. So
almost like driving a race car.
Yeah, that takes it. I haven't been in a race car at Tri-City since 1997, so I haven't even been around there, just in the passenger cars. So I need to get out there and just spend an afternoon and get reacclimated and see. I'm not saying see what I've got. I just want to get some time in it and just feel it again. So
what does it mean to you to be able to watch these races, the racetrack that you grew up driving, learning to promote with your dad? Now you're promoting it, to see cars back out there decades later.
It's a great deal, but it's nerve-wracking being on that side of the fence. When I did compete, I never felt the sense of urgency as if something could go wrong. As a driver, I felt like I always had it handled, and in the race, I never felt that apprehension. As a race fan or a race promoter, I am constantly on the lookout for things to make safer, better, just to put on a better show. So at the time you're racing, you really don't notice those things or care that much about those, even though they are important. So, but it is quite an honor to be able to do that. There's no question, to be able to be involved in that and have it reopen again. Yeah, if we only had one race, I would have said, well, that was good. That was good enough because we ended it the right way. But now that it's still going, we want to keep it going. So
again, we're catching up with Greg Walden, promoter of the Tri-City Raceway at the Red Mountain Event Center. Win a free pair of tickets to the 55th Annual Apple Cup, April 6th and April 7th. All you have to do is text us the word Apple to 510-858-1340. Again, text us the word Apple to 510-858-1340 and win a free pair of tickets to the 55th Annual Apple Cup, April 6th and April 7th. We're going to hear from our sponsors. We'll hear from Greg Walden later in the show. And when we come back, we'll hear from Danica Dart. She's preparing for her first ever Apple Cup at 16 years of age.
Hey, if you have hard water, then you need Soft Water Specialists. With their new Symphony system, you'll get great tasting, healthier water that will leave your clothing softer and brighter, your dishes cleaner, and it will extend the life of your appliances. With more than 30 years combined experience treating residential and commercial hard water problems, Soft Water Specialists offers peace of mind. To transform your water from H2O no to H2O yeah, call Soft Water Specialists for a free consultation or visit mysoftwater.com today.
Have Christine Connolly help you achieve your housing goals and be your genie in a bottle.
As you wish. Buying or selling a home is a huge decision. You need someone that you trust and trust that they know what they're doing. As a second-generation realtor, I know how to anticipate the needs of my clients, and I make sure I'm up to date on the latest real estate trends in the Valley, along with buying programs that clients can take advantage of. I go above and beyond for all of my clients.
Contact Christine Connolly online or on Facebook at As You Wish Houses.
Part of Coldwell Banker Tomlinson.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
We're back on the Sports Council talking about the 55th Annual Apple Cup coming up April 6th and April 7th, and we're joined by Danica Dart. Danica, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
This will be your first ever Apple Cup. How are you feeling about that?
I'm super excited. I'm really excited about just being able to experience the race. It's been a thing for over 50 years. So, yeah, I know it'll be really important to just show what I got and what I can do. So I'm super excited for it.
The Tri-City Raceway is a very tough place to race. How are you preparing for that tri-oval?
So I'm just really studying the track, watching a lot of in-cam footage, talking to my crew chief, BJ Chidrick. He's super great at that track, really successful. I'm talking to my dad. I'm just making sure I'm in shape. I do trainings every single day after school. And yeah, I'm really just trying to take all the knowledge in that I can.
Well, being 16 years old, I feel like you do have to do everything you can, taking that knowledge and even talking with you. You're like, sorry, I'm in class. I'm like, oh, sorry, I should have known that. And you saying you do training after class. So at 16 years old, you have a lot of accomplishments under your belt. How did you get into driving, and what all do you do in the racing world?
Yeah, so I got into driving when I was 6 years old. My dad got me a quarter midget in North Dakota at the time, and my love and passion for the sport has just grown since then. Currently, I'm going to be racing a Legend, a midget. I'm racing an ARCA car right now, and my super late model program is still going on, so yeah.
And explain to me, what exactly is ARCA that's very exciting, the tie with NASCAR, and so what exactly does that mean that you're driving an ARCA car?
So an ARCA car is a level in the NASCAR series. You know, it goes the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series. And then right below that is the ARCA series. But there actually is a couple different series in the ARCA series, if that makes sense. There's different regions, so the ARCA East series and the ARCA West series, and I'm a part of the ARCA West series. Yeah, it's a really big deal because it gets my name out there. I mean, all the teams on the ARCA series and any NASCAR level are all top tier teams. They're all the best drivers. So yeah, it's a really big deal, and I feel super accomplished by being able to be on an ARCA team. So yeah, especially at 16 years old.
Exactly. Being a driver and having affiliation with NASCAR, that's quite an accomplishment. And being 16 years old, we've seen it with other drivers before. Tyler Brown started at a very young age at the Tri-City Raceway. So we've seen young drivers before, but I don't think I've ever seen a young 16-year-old female driver in that. How do you approach that? Because there is looks, I'm sure you get quite a bit where you're 16 years old as well as a female, and you have an affiliation with NASCAR.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be hateful people. It happens with everything, especially being a female and so young. People who think I don't belong. But being from the Northwest, there's a really strong group of young people in motorsports, such as Haley Constance. One of my best friend, Kaden Moran, she is from Tri-Cities, and she just actually moved to Kansas, so she's not racing as much. But Casey Klein, Evan Getz are just a few of the young names that are coming out of Washington State. And yeah, we all kind of grew up battling each other and moving through the ranks together. And I think we all kind of struggle with the same things, being young drivers, but we've gained a lot of respect up in the Northwest. So I think that's helped a lot. But the female aspect, honestly, isn't too hard. I just keep my head held high. And I don't let it get to me, and I try to motivate younger women and older women that just need that extra support and motivation. I try to just be there for everyone, and yeah, it doesn't get to me as much as people think.
Heard you took a spill a couple weeks ago in Phoenix.
Yeah, so I went for my very first ARCA race in Phoenix, which is a crazy first race in a ARCA car to go to Phoenix. It's insane. It was just an awesome experience, but we got caught up in an unfortunate wreck that ended our night on the very first lap of the race. But just qualifying into the race was great. I'm super excited about that. I think everyone was super excited about that. Yeah. How's
the car looking?
The ARCA car, I mean, it has some damage, but not as much as I was thinking. So, yeah, my next ARCA race is actually this weekend on Saturday, if it doesn't get rained out. But I'll be in a different car because my other car is still getting worked on from the damage from Phoenix. So.
And you'll be back in the Tri-Cities in August with ARCA?
Yes, I will be.
And that is August 10th?
Yes.
So we get to watch you later on in August with the NASCAR ARCA Series for April 6th and 7th for the Apple Cup. What races will you be competing in?
I will be competing in the super late model race at the Apple Cup.
That takes place on Sunday.
Yes, it does. It takes place on Sunday. We have practice on Friday. I have a private practice on Thursday, so just get prepared and get the car all fine-tuned and everything for the race on Sunday.
So you're very young, have a lot of accomplishments, but what do you want to accomplish as a driver? I guess what is on your vision board right now?
Yeah, so a lot of things. I want to accomplish a lot of things. I want to win races. I want to move up the ranks in NASCAR. I'd want to get in a sprint car if I can. I just really want to motivate a lot of people, and I'd like to help young girls that want to be in the motorsports. It's really intimidating, especially being a young female. I mean, I've had times where I doubt myself, and I just feel like you can definitely go through the journey without doing that if you have someone to help you. And I have a lot of goals, and I don't think I can just pick one thing.
And that's me looking back at some of the things people say, what do you regret? And one of my biggest regrets is not just believing in myself and just going with it, because I feel as females that you doubt yourself. That's the saying when talking to coaches, is that men have too much confidence and females don't have enough.
Yeah, for sure. I find myself doubting myself, but I feel like I'll regret it in the future. Like, I think to myself, oh my gosh, like, nobody makes it to the top level in NASCAR. There's no other female, like, other than Danica Patrick, but she's retired. But there's no other female, so I'm just like, okay, well, you know, like, I
why
feel
not
like
me?
Like, why am I gonna make it? But I'm gonna make a point that I am here to stay, and I'm gonna make it, and I just need to believe in myself, and I've gotten way better at that. I believe in myself, and I know what I'm capable of, and I just need to showcase that to everyone. So.
And people can watch Danica Dart race Sunday. And Danica, where can people find you if they want to check out where you're going, where you've been, what you have going on in the racing world online?
Yeah, for sure. So everyone can find me on my social medias. I have TikTok, just Danica Dart. My Facebook and Instagram, Danica Dart Motorsports. I post a lot on there. Kind of just showcase my life, some personal stuff, when my races are, race results, and my email's on there, and links to get merch are going to be on there soon. So if you want to check that out, that's available.
So go ahead and check out Danica Dart online at Danica Dart Motorsports. And you can catch her racing at the 55th Annual Apple Cup April 6th and April 7th. She'll be racing in the Super Lates on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and take another break. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
Yeah, look at that. Tri-City Raceway coming to life here.
We're back on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Back with Greg Walden. We heard from him to start the show, promoter of the Tri-City Raceway. So we're talking about the 55th Annual Apple Cup taking place April 6th and April 7th. When do the gates open? What are the events that people want to watch? What should people look out for?
I would say they're all great. The track lends itself to great racing and competition. Either day will be good. Certainly the Pro Late models on Saturday, the Super Late model on Sunday. The support groups are good. They're great. And gates open at 10, but racing doesn't start until 1 o'clock. So if you get there at 10, you're going to be sitting around for 3 hours. The seating is assigned on the in the grandstand upper portion. It's unassigned in the concrete lower section. So, and we just invite you to buy a ticket, enjoy the spectacle, the excitement, the noise, the competition of short track racing at the only half-mile tri-oval in the world.
And the fastest
Definitely
half-mile track this side of the Mississippi.
This side of the Mississippi, yes, it is. There's without a question. It's such a blast to drive, and drivers love it or hate it, but most of them love it.
And if people want to buy tickets, where should they go?
Yeah, Red Mountain Events Center webpage and also racewashington.com.
So we'll put a link to that in the link for this show, but it's the Apple Cup. And again, if you want to win a pair of tickets, go ahead and text Apple to 510-858-1340. Again, that's Apple to 510-858-1340 and win a pair of tickets to the Apple Cup. That is April 6th and April 7th at the Tri-City Raceway. Greg, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Had a blast. Looked forward to seeing you out there one of the days, if not both.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Well, that wraps up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. But you can listen to the show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council. And it's also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me. You're listening to 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports programming.